Okay, boys and girls, sports fans, it's Den here. I'm in an anonymous hotel, Las Vegas, yet again. And to my left, your right, is Mr. Seth Ravin, CEO of Rimini Street, one of those third-party maintenance companies that's causing havoc in some parts of the market. Would you agree?
Well, we're definitely changing the way people buy IT support services.
Right, okay, fair enough. What are you seeing going on in the market?
I think we are in the middle of a very large transition
Okay.
from what we would consider to be the old way, which was a single monolithic large application package from a legacy vendor, spreading out now to really being a multi-layered approach in IT and a hybrid environment, which is going to create a landscape of on-premise software, cloud software, a combination of core transaction systems that lie at the base of a system, coupled with all sorts of new best-of-breed products that are going to change out a lot faster. So as the customer interaction, as you get closer to the top and where a customer meets a company, you're going to find a lot of change. You've got mobile, you've got social, you've got all these big data and analytics going on at that level. And then way down at the bottom are the core systems of record. And so we're starting to see stratification, I think, in the way that people budget and look at different layers of IT.
Is that fundamentally different to the way we would have bought maybe 5, 10 years ago, would you say?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And I think in the past, people would have bought Oracle or SAP with 50 packages all mixed together.
Yeah.
And what they're finding is that there are core transactions, that's payroll, general ledger, there are supply chain and manufacturing components that are highly custom. They are highly developed for each customer. And then there are packages like CRM, which can actually be in a cloud environment, which don't have as much customization. There are parts of this that can go out, and you're watching the stratification, and people are starting to think about where they're investing. Mm-hmm. For example, the core transaction systems run perfectly. They tend to be legally bound. With lots of requirements from the law, and they change as the taxes change and other components change on a legal basis. They'll stay in place for 10, 15, 20 years now, maybe even longer. But the transaction systems at the top that touch customers, they change constantly. And so people are really understanding now that there are differentiations in these layers, and they're starting to apply budgets and IT strategies that differentiate between the layers.
Okay, so basically they're going to squeeze as much out of the commodity at the bottom and try and transfer as much value to the top, I would imagine, something along those lines.
As we say, we have customers that compete with each other in the restaurant business, for example. They don't compete with each other out their general ledger or their accounts payable software.
God, I'm so surprised.
I know, but they really do need to spend that money on the way that they connect with customers, the social interaction,
Right.
for example, the mobile, getting the mobile apps into their customers' hands so that they stop at their restaurant and not their competitors next door. And that's the kind of transformation we're seeing. Where Rimini Street is playing is at that core level at the bottom, those huge transaction systems. We want to take cost out of the general ledger, the AP system, get them wonderful mission critical support, but we're allowing them to take excess cost from the vendors out of that layer and use that to actually fund that mobile, that social, that big data and analytics component at the top.
So the story originally when Rimini Street got going was very much about cost reduction, and that would remain true to some extent.
Yes.
So it's really cost transfer, isn't it, to where value is going to be delivered wherever possible, yeah?
We spend more time with CIOs and CFOs today talking about how to rebalance the cost in their IT portfolio,
Right.
more than just saving money overall in terms of reducing the IT budget. Mm-hmm. Because today, the truth is that every IT department has many more projects than they can possibly handle. Mm-hmm. And they're looking for ways to fund that. Mm-hmm. And if they're spending too much on the bottom layer, which it is a mission critical layer, you have to have it running and it has to run right. It's statutory. Mm-hmm. But you have to be able to take cost out of that part of the environment and move that up to the other layers that are changing much more dynamically today.
And typically we would have thought of companies like your own as serving those customers who are kind of in steady state and are going to be that way for some time to come. That would be the inference from a model which, when we see the announcements from yourself, says we signed a 5-year or a 10-year contract with so and so. But you're suggesting that that might be changing, yeah?
No, actually, the truth is our customers are extremely dynamic.
Right.
I know there was this belief that, hey, you wouldn't do this move to third-party support, independent support, without being in a steady state. The truth is our customers are adding countries all the time. They're changing their systems, they're customizing them, they're deploying new modules. And in fact, we have customers who are using the savings to deploy new modules. And Brandeis University, for example, who we just put a release out on yesterday, saving $8 million on their PeopleSoft support over an 8-year period. And at the same time, they're really putting themselves in a position to fund, and they talk about how they're funding all sorts of new projects based on it. So they are also adding new modules even to their existing systems. So we're really enabling a huge amount of new implementation at the same time.
Right.